Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this was turn 74. I'm actually doing this ex post facto because I barely managed to get any moves in on this turn. This is the sum of what I did, just moving around a whole bunch. I think I might have screwed up here, but in any case, this is actually an interesting turn to talk about a subject not directly related to Dominion's strategy, which is Dominion's psychology. So if you'll recall, we were besieged in Amber Fields, and I sent in a super combatant squad, including a horribly memey lumber construct. Gop, the Ice Devil, is still just in hell beating the shit out of various imps and devils. And I was feeling pretty good about it, and let's see what happened. So I had my Communion all set up to cast my buff spells. I've got Mastema the Heliophagus. I've got my dude back here, who is not a very good super combatant, but is sort of hilarious. And I've got Lu Tung Pin the Immortal, who's going to fly in. My opponent has brought in more guys. He's got I Wanted to Be an Air Queen, the Fairy Queen, with a Ring of Returning. He's got Atimu's cute little sister. He's got a whole bunch of Bakemono sorcerers. Lace Dragonian cosplayer, who's geared as a super combatant, a pretty effective one, actually. Door Opener, the White Mage, with a Gate Cleaver. He's got Muscle Goblin, the Bakemono sorcerer, with a Holy Scourge. And Demon Friend. He's got Overkill, the Bakemono sorcerer, Big Betsy, a Sharp Dude, Chikafusa, Anti-Devil Artillery, Tsunemichi, and Do You Even Lift? Several of these guys... Oh, and he's also got Piedra de Afilar, which I don't know what that means. And then he's got a whole bunch of Dai Bakemonos and some green lions up front. A whole bunch of these guys are scripted to cast Banefire, which I had not quite appreciated. And then he's got a bunch of Shamans, his Shamans who were swarming and are now out of gems, so they're just here, I presume, as Communion slaves or something. And then he's got this lady who can cast Foul Vapors if she really wants to, plus a Crystal Mage, just in case the Crystal Mage with a Crystal Coin, and Slavery isn't cool. These guys are here to stop Astral Spells from hitting. So, he prepares to cast Wailing Winds, he's dropping his Communion spells. We're about to go in, but we're dropping our buffs first. The Lumber Construct flies to the back. The Lumber Construct flies to the back, kills a lady, and then... Watch, wait for it, gets hit with Banefire. And it's going to get hit with Banefire again. Or maybe he retreats, I don't know. No, I think he gets hit with Banefire again. In any case, some gifts from heaven are dropping. Mastema is still standing there, kind of buffing up. I think Lu Tung Pin may already be dead. We've got a whole bunch of Soul Vortexes down there. Yeah, the Lumber Construct is where... gone, I think. There's so much crap happening on the battlefield, you can't hardly even see. Rigor Mortis, Wailing Winds, everything's happening. But the net result is Mastema never actually gets off the ground, I don't think. He gets a chest wound, he gets decayed, he gets hit by Atimu's cute little sister with the Flesh Eater and the Athame. And he just gets wiped out as these anti-super combatants teleport in. Plus we also have my Huli Jing here, never gets to cast her spells. She breaks and then is run down and killed. So, the overall effect is, I get butchered. This might be the greatest loss I've ever suffered in a single turn in terms of gem and mage time. I lost everything that went except some of my chaff and one crystal sorceress. The enemy lost an Uba. And a Dai Bakemono. And then, they attacked the fortress at Amber Fields, and they killed everyone in there too, including the Ice Devil that I had summoned. And they lost one Bakemono Shaman and one Crystal Mage. So, overall, on top of that, they've also besieged Plane of Memories, and they've attacked Pergamy. So, besieged, still besieged, take him. This is a good time to talk about the psychological in Dominions 5, because this was a huge, almost crushing blow. And I will cheerfully admit, it made me, like, at some level, seeing this made me not want to play the game anymore. And that happens, especially in late-game Dominions, after you've sunk hours and hours and hours and hours into one game. I mean, we're on turn 74. On average, turns probably take me Well, okay, on average for a player, if you average out the turns over the course of the game, turns probably take like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. For me, they actually take longer because I have to play the turn, then record the turn, and then edit the video. So for me, it probably takes more like, I don't know, 45 minutes. Especially once you get into the late game, it takes a long time to play turns. And so after you've sunk, you know, literally dozens of hours into a game, to take a hit like this and look at it and go, you know, I don't think I'm going to be able to come back from this one, is pretty hard, really. Like, there is a psychological impact to that. Even though I accepted a long time ago that I was not winning this game and I've just kind of been playing for fun, in some ways that makes it more difficult because then it's like, what are the consequences if I leave? Well, I'm not going to leave. We're going to play this game out to the end. But it still is quite frustrating, as I'm sure you all can appreciate. And I'm sure that was part of why I didn't somehow get around to playing this turn until it was literally like a few minutes before it was taking over and I had to do something. I'm not sure what to do at this stage. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't think I can actually beat his super combatants. I think he's effectively kicked my ass at my own game. I don't have the gem income to really compete. My gem income it's not disgustingly horrible, but it's not good. I mean, for turn 74, 10, 16, 25, 34, 38, 46. Nah, not even gonna do. I've been trying in the last few turns to bump it up, but it's really a case of too little too late. I've got Satis over here waiting to invade me, gathering up armies. I've got the Bakemono pushing down with armies that I'm absolutely not sure I can stop. This fortress, lot of Mujinas in there, at least one Bakemono sorcerer, and it's tying up this huge army that I can't actually do anything with. So what we're going to have to do here is we're just going to have to move on out. We'll leave some guys to patrol, but we're going to have to take most of these guys and just go. We need to get back up towards the capital. We'll continue recruiting crystal mages here. Yeah, I don't know. Really don't know, but we're gonna make an effort of it. We're going to gather at the capital, as I often do for last stands. We don't need to do a whole lot more research at this point. We'll be hitting enchantment level 9 in just a little bit, so then we'll get Fields of the Dead. We have gotten Litia Kwai back, so the Master with the Iron Crutch is back with us, which is good. Still spamming out units, but yeah, at this point in the game, units just really aren't relevant. It's all about gems, and I'm just being beaten in the gem economy. Like, I would venture to guess right now that Shinoyama actually has more gems per turn than I do, despite not having as much territory as they used to. I mean, I still think territory-wise, they're close to even with me, if not actually even with me. And they're about to cut off my source of Garnet Sorceresses. I don't think there's any way I can hold this. I really don't. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't think I have the armies to stop what's going to happen here. Because all these guys are going to move down here, break the fort, and then assault it. Then they'll have the Garnet Sorceresses, and I won't. So, you know, looking pretty bad for good old general confusion. And now, let me be perfectly plain. A lot of that is just because I haven't been, like, playing the game at 100% for, probably, like, 15 turns now. Even then, I wasn't... Yeah. It's gotten very complicated, and there have been a lot of distractions for me over the last little while I've been playing this game, which is not to make excuses. I mean, most of those distractions are self-inflicted, but it does mean that I'm just in this position where I haven't taken myself to the point where I would need to be in order to compete in a game of this kind. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to lose this fortress up here as well, unfortunately. And I don't really have great answers. I do have Huang Laoju, who could potentially... He's got Astral Mages there. He's got Astral Mages everywhere, protecting him against Mind Hunts. And I don't have... Like I said, I just don't really have good answers to them. His super combatants are actually very well done, and so it's going to be very, very difficult to stop them. I'm going to keep blood hunting right up to the point where I can't. gather as many blood slaves as I can. I'm casting Infernal Disease because Infernal Disease is one thing he does not have perfect protection against. His sorcerers, if caught in an assassination, probably will still die. Or at least get diseased, and if they get diseased, then they're in trouble. So, we're going to hold on as much as we can. We're going to cast Infernal Disease. We're going to get rid of our... We're going to save our boosters at least, and before he takes this place, we're going to burn down the lab. And like I said, we'll gather troops at the capital, and we'll see what we can do. I'm making moves as if they matter. I didn't make those moves when I was actually playing the turn in a huge rush, so it's not going to make a difference. But in any case, I'll see you all in turn 75. We'll see how long I last here. Maybe I could pull some kind of a rabbit out of my hat and accomplish something, but odds are against it. Odds are pretty much against it. Did I get that Bakemono Sorcerer away? I had talked about doing that. Where'd the happy Bakemono Sorcerer go that I captured? There he is. I did not. So the Bakemono Sorcerer is stuck in here under siege, and of course, my Huli Jing has died. So that's going to be an issue. Wonderful. In any case, see you in turn 75. Alright, folks, welcome back to Mandala, turn 75. We're digging out of the funk of last turn. We're starting to set up a defensive line. We're going to do what we can. Unfortunately, we are about to lose our Garnet Sorceresses. So, what's going to happen here? They're going to come charging in. And what we will do is we will meet them with the full fury and power of a whole bunch of blood mages who have nothing to lose. By which I mean, we are going to try and drop a hell power bomb on them. So, Communion slaves, there. You're going to be a Sabbath slave, and you're going to be a Sabbath slave. So you need, like, 1. And you can have 1. You are going to cast Reinvigoration right off the bat. It has a casting time of 150%, so it will go off after the Sabbath is created. After that... Yeah. After that, we're going to drop Hell Power with both of these ladies. So you are also going to cast Sabbath Master. Then you're going to cast... Actually, then you are going to cast Phoenix Pyre. So, here's the goal. Here's the goal, alright? When we cast Hell Power... The Hell Power buff will also be applied to all of the slaves. The Phoenix Pyre plus the Reinvigoration will help keep them alive. So, Amiya, the Hell Power caster, probably going to die shortly after I do this. But, we're just going to scatter our ladies here kind of around the map just a little bit so they can't all be sniped by teleporting super combatants or something, and the goal will be, with the Hell Power active and the Phoenix Pyre active, that will spawn horrors, and the horrors will attack basically at random. If we can spawn enough horrors by using the Phoenix Pyre and having the Reinvigorations keep us alive, then we will accomplish something. We're going to slap this Black Steel full plate on Amiya. We're also going to take that booster off her. She doesn't need to be casting, yeah, she doesn't actually need to cast Infernal Disease right now. We cast Infernal Disease, incidentally. We got one of the Bakemono Sorcerers. He is diseased, and he's going to die. If we view this battle, this is why Disease Demons are really, really good. Because when we cast Infernal Disease, this guy's up here, he's like, oh, look at me, I have Iron Skin, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to do tons of damage. And that's fine, but our guy's ethereal, and his weapon isn't magic, so this fight drags on for a long time. Long enough to get the hit in. And then in a little while, there's another hit that takes him down to like 4 hit points. So he kills the Disease Demon and technically lives, but he's going to die in 2 turns. So over here, we're setting up the Hell Power Bomb. It's going to be small, but I think we can make it work because we have Phoenix Pyre and Reinvigoration. So we're going to Reinvigorate. Then we're going to... you actually need to cast Sabbath Master first. So, Sabbath Master. Then, yeah, Hell Power. And then Reinvigoration before anybody dies. So the Reinvigoration will reset everybody's fatigue, clear it out. And that will mean that the Phoenix Pyre can proc at least twice on people. We also have all of these imps. We're going to give imps to people. We're going to give soldiers to people. And we're just going to kind of have them scattered like randomly around the map to soak up attack orders. And we'll be hold an attack closest. Hold an attack closest. Let's make sure we're above the minimum threshold for taking random morale checks if we can. In fact, let's put those guys down here. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that'll be above the minimum. So hold an attack closest. Hold an attack closest. So we've got a few back here to soak up attack rear orders. We've got one off to the flank. We've got one up front to soak up attack closest orders. Let's actually have 2 in front and 2 behind. Our mages scattered around in the middle. This should make the Hellpower Bomb as effective as it can be. That doesn't mean it's going to be 100% effective, obviously, but it's as effective as can be. And yeah, the Hellpower requires blood 3. We'll cut that down so it'll be 150% fatigue. We've actually got 4 slaves, so we'll actually be boosted by 2, so we'll be at blood 6. Which means it'll be cut down to 150. It'll be fairly low, and then divided by those 4. I don't think anybody's going to pass out or die or anything before we get the Reinvigoration off. And then after the Phoenix Pyre, we can set these ladies to spam. You can spam life for a life. It doesn't affect inanimate, so it won't target the skeletons, which are what they're using. You, after the Reinvigoration, you can cast life for a life once. And then cast... Blood Rain could be possible. Hellbind Heart. Bloodletting. I don't really want to do Bloodletting. Yeah, you cast life for a life. And you will go life for a life, life for a life. And then, if you're still alive at this point, drop another Reinvigoration. Just to make sure people stay alive as long as possible. Because, so long as people stay alive as long as possible, so long as any of these guys are still alive, horrors will keep spawning. Now, I don't have a lot of defensive buffs except for the Phoenix Pyre, but so long as I can keep their fatigue below 100%, the Phoenix Pyre will keep them alive. They just won't die. They'll keep exploding, respawning, exploding, respawning. I'm spreading them out like this so that when they explode, they won't kill each other, hopefully. They might, but I think if they're this far apart, they won't. And so, they should just be teleporting around, exploding. Should happen 4 or 5 times. They'll keep spawning horrors. If this all goes to plan, knock on wood. They'll keep spawning horrors, and the horrors will attack the enemy army, and hopefully they'll inflict some pretty serious damage. Plus, these life for a life casts that we've got, like I said, they won't target inanimate beings, which in this army, since this army is mainly long dead warriors, means they'll be going after the Dai Bakemonos or the Bakemono sorcerers. They could go after the white mage as well, but they won't go after the long dead, and I don't think they'll go after green lions, because I think green lions are also inanimate. Where are some of my green lions? Do I have some green lions left? I'm pretty sure green lions are inanimate. No, actually they're not, so it could target green lions. But you know what? Killing green lions with it would be fine. That would be okay. I wouldn't hate that. And it will kill whoever it is that it hits. I could swap this out for Leech. Because Leech hits an entire square. So that might actually be better. The problem is Leech has a range. Now let's go Life for a Life, because Life for a Life has max range. So it can reach all the way to the back of the field, and they'll tend to target the really dangerous people. So it tends to target mages. And cast spells. You're on cast spells. Okay. So that's what we're going to try to do. Not sure how effective that will be with that small a group, but it might do something. Down here, I've scripted all my various blood hunters to form Sabbaths when attacked and spam Leech. Since attacks come in after blood hunting, they'll have slaves, that they can use to do that, and that will allow them to wipe out raiding thugs with a reasonable degree of reliability. Not 100%, but reasonable. Raiding against blood hunters is hard for that reason. Over here, we're breaking the siege. In here, we're blood hunting again, and we are casting 3 red seconds on Panofia. So we're kind of forming a line of fortresses with our blood slaves. We've got a whole bunch more blood slaves coming in. About 70 or so. Well, Panofia, we already... No, we didn't pick up those. We've got more blood slaves coming in. Should be able to accomplish something here. I guess we actually don't need that many. We don't need 20. I think 12 would do. For what I'm doing. Because Hell Power, she'll be able to use like 3 extra on Hell Power, so that's a maximum of 6. Let's make it 16 just to make sure that we have enough to accomplish our goals here, accomplish the mission. So long as we get this part off, if we get our first 3 spells off, then we're pretty certain to cause some havoc. If we can get that 5th reinvigoration off, that would be really key, that would be clutch. Unfortunately, once the Phoenix Pyre activates, what's going to happen is when the first person, if one of these 2 explodes with the Phoenix Pyre, it's going to kill all of their blood slaves, and even if it doesn't, it'll teleport them away from those remaining blood slaves. So after that, won't so much. But hopefully the Phoenix Pyre will keep them alive long enough to cause some really serious damage. At the very least, we're going to make him fight for it. That is the minimum expectation. Edna is going to go up here because she is a Foul Vapors caster, and so we can use Foul Vapors against his Bakemono sorcerers. If they're not expecting poison, then poison can kill them. And that will be the plan, I think. I cast a whole bunch of remote site searching spells and found nothing this turn. Honestly, this is kind of what discourages me from site searching. I know I shouldn't allow this to discourage me. I should just keep plugging away. But it is frustrating that I wasted 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21, 23, 25 gems this turn for literally nothing. Just threw them away into the wind. Very frustrating. He's casting Leprosy on Tianqi again. He has a bunch of death gems. A whole bunch of units are diseased, but we do have Hoseng Ku, who will heal. So hopefully she'll target the commanders and heal them up before the disease actually does much damage. I think she probably will. And of course, Bixie is dropping 3 red seconds, and he can also start dropping Infernal Disease as and when we need that. Eulalia, meanwhile, was casting Dark Knowledge. But what we need her to do, actually, is forge... Well, what we need to do is give her a Bloodthorn. So, have a... Drop that. Have a Bloodthorn. And what can you cast with that? You could actually cast Crossbreeding... I don't need that. Curse of Blood. I need Death 4 in order to accomplish that. I still have not gotten a line on a Skullface. So, yeah, very, very frustrating. Vampires would help my situation a lot. I really need to find somebody who can give up. Satis is, let me see if I can get Satis to return my calls. Lifelong Protection would be neat. Don't have the slaves for it right at the moment. With the Black Heart, I could start counter-assassinating. With... Yes. We're summoning a... Where'd it go? Where'd she go? Where did she go? I thought it was here. Mercury. We're calling a... Huli Jing. I swear to God we are, because all my gems are gone. Yeah, contact Huli Jing. We're summoning a Huli Jing. We're going to give her that Black Heart, and we're going to use her as a Swarm Assassin. And so she'll be able to whittle down the ranks of the enemy mages a little bit. Because that armor negating damage is just so devastating. Even against super combatants, if they're not specifically designed to counter Swarm Assassins still kill them. So, that will be fantastic. And, yeah. Should be good. Alright, so... That's the turn. Fairly minor turn. Oh, and we're moving our army back in to besiege High Woods. It will take 3 turns to crack the fort. I'm not waiting any longer. And we're gonna just push in, grit our teeth, take the damage from the assassins. Don't know how many assassins he still has there. He may have started to move them away. I kind of hope he has. But in any case, we're just gonna move everybody in and grit our teeth. We have a whole bunch of extra commanders who are doing nothing except sucking up assassinations. So I think we should be able to weather the storm for 3 turns and then take the fortress, which is fairly lightly defended. 1 Bakemono Sorcerer. So unless he teleports some guys up, we should be able to do it. We're also recruiting more commanders down here in order to take these troops and funnel them up to join the siege as well. So we'll take Highwoods away from him just kind of out of petty desire to cause pain. And we'll go from there. All these guys are going to move into the capital, where they will help provide an assassin buffer down here. And we're also starting to kit Auriax as, like... He has so many super combatants that trying to counter-thug against them is very, very risky, and especially counter-thugging with something as expensive as an Ice Devil is risky. But basically, this guy is geared, so right now he has 8 attacks per round, and they're all really high-quality magical attacks. We're going to give him a Burning Pearl and some Flying Shoes. If I can find an if I can manage to intercept an isolated thug, Auriax should be able to kill them, because I won't even script any buff spells. He'll just zip over, drop on them, hit them 8 times in a row with magic, very powerful magic attacks, and hopefully just kill them in 1 round, no matter what they are. Not much can survive being hit 6 times with Wavebreaker. Not much. So that should do some good work. We're dropping him over here where we have the 3 red seconds dropping, and we're also building a lab in the same turn. So should be able to hold this place. And he'll get his Flying Shoes and we'll be good to go. So, that's the turn. I'll see you all in turn 76. Alright, folks. Mandala turn 76. We've lost Plane of Memories. The Hell Power Bomb failed. There just wasn't enough stuff there. So, we didn't have enough mages affected by the Hell Power Bomb. They weren't able to summon many horrors, and of course the horrors got summoned back here. So they kind of got bogged up with what little infantry I had. Didn't really accomplish much since they didn't come in numbers. They killed quite a few blood slaves. And a few of my guys got to teleport around, but it wasn't really enough to make a difference. We inflicted a few casualties, not many. So, you can see here, we killed 3 Daibakemonos, 1 Green Lion, and 12 Long Dead Warriors. And they have, you know, a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff, they spent a lot of gems. They deserve it. We got some good unexpected events, a lot of money plus a Carmine Cleaver, which is kind of cool. And then we got Misfortune and Magic, and then we got a bunch of gems, which is nice. We've started to destroy the fort in High Woods. We're suffering from diseases because there's not enough supplies there. We're sending in these 2 guys with more supplies, and we're pouring in more commanders from everywhere in order to make ourselves relatively resilient against assassinations. In Ligria, you can see here, this Bakemono Sorcerer Thug charged in, wiped us out. That's fine, he'll fail against an actual army, but he was geared quite effectively to be very high prot, very resilient against troops. So against these random troops that were over here unled, he just made himself hard to kill, basically, and then cast Phoenix Pyre and went on to beat them up. No problem. Like, they can't hurt him, the Vine Shield is continuously envining them, and so he just really doesn't have anything to worry about here. And High Woods, it says the fortress is, where is it? We've started to destroy the fort in High Woods. It says the walls are undamaged, but that's just because he cast iron walls on it, and so it was wall integrity 1250. In actuality, we're hacking it down by a lot every turn. I would estimate about 3 turns to get through here, and like I said, we're just going to pour in more random unimportant commanders in order to make ourselves relatively effect-proof against assassination. And we're going to assign some bodyguards to all the ones who matter. Like our mages. So just bear with me a second while I do this. This is kind of the just a little bit of housekeeping that you have to do when you want to do something like this. Crossbowmen are actually pretty good guardians. 5. It doesn't. Our regular commanders don't matter. We have enough of those, and we have more coming in all the time. So it's just the mages really that we want to be guarded. she's relatively proof against assassinations as well. But everyone in the Communion needs to have some guards, and really, if we want for maximum efficiency, what we should be doing is using the real Imperial Guard for this, not the Imperial City Guard, the ones with falchions, because they have the Bodyguard special, which makes them highly efficient as bodyguards. In actuality, I may start recruiting those. See the Imperial Guard here, Bodyguard 4, so they're really good at that. So I'm just going to pump out a whole bunch of Imperial Guard up here. And I'll probably also pump out... I've cast 3 red seconds over here, so we now have a Citadel of Power over on this side. And I think I'll recruit some Imperial Guard over here as well. Can't have all that many, but we can have some. And up here we can't recruit anything. Assassinations were focused in Pergamy last turn, so we're patrolling with our 3 commanders here. We're also dropping in Auriax. We finished Auriax's kit. He's now kitted... not for durability, although he does have very high prot and high defense skill because of the cold 3, but rather just so that he can airdrop into a province and kill an enemy super combatant really fast. Like, he's just scripted to attack rear, no buffs, nothing. He has quickness from the Jade Armor. He's got a total of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks, all at attack 26 or higher, and they all do a lot of damage, including the Wavebreaker does 42 piercing magic damage. The Barbed Tail does 24, plus has a paralyzing poison, and the Gore attack, of course, does 26. So basically, if he manages to catch out an enemy thug or super combatant, he's going to straight up murder it. I don't care what it is. If they get Phoenix Pyre off, then they'll live for that long, but he also flies. So he'll chase them down and kill them again and again and again. We're teleporting him, we're not teleporting, we're airdropping him in over here in order to kind of try to make an effect on these guys. Actually, because I anticipate they're going to move into Pergamy, they might move into Benofia, but actually I'll tell you what I'm going to do with him. I'm actually going to drop him on an enemy province. Because his only real weakness is like remote attack spells. Other than that, he's not going to be killed by much. We'll move Shen Nung up there to pick up those troops, just in case he can. We've got these scouts just sort of hanging around to absorb assassination attempts for right now. We've also got the Master with the Iron Crutch back, so that's good. Down here, we're summoning a Mound Fiend, but actually, we're going to swap that over to the Master with the Iron Crutch and have him summon the Mound Fiend instead. So the Mound Fiend can start just spamming out skeletons. They summon a certain number of skeletons per turn with a Summon Ally action. That'll be fine. We're also casting Infernal Disease at Amberfields, so we're going to try to assassinate commanders with disease demons. And yeah, we're just doing what we can basically to be annoying at this point. We also have a Huli Jing. So the Huli Jing is going to change shape. We're going to move that Bakemono Sorcerer back to Tianqi, and then the Huli Jing will cast Gift of Reason upon it. And yeah, that will get us a Bakemono Sorcerer of our very own. Some of our commanders are still going to die of diseases, unfortunately, but fewer than one might think, because of course we have Ho Xingku, the Prophet here, healing. She also is unequally obese, which is nice, I guess. Anyway, so she's healing people, and we've got good patrolling going on here. We've got good patrolling going on in Pergamy. We've got good patrolling in Benofia, so the assassins we should be able to more or less suppress, especially once we start pumping out the Imperial Guard, who are also not bad combat units, honestly. With falchions, they hit fairly hard, and they have the shields, they have good defense skill, decent prot. So, not a bad unit in many ways. Down here, we should start pumping them out too, since we have the money for it. There we go. Get a whole bunch of Imperial Guard going on. Down here, we should get some Imperial Guard as well, because those assassins are going to start spreading out if they stop being effective against my huge stacks. So, that will be the plan. We can't patrol down here, unfortunately, so we just have to chaff and suck it up. We've got a guy scripted to anti-magic, and we've got some... I mean, anti-magic outside of a communion, so if he tries to drop Wind of Death on me or something, I should be able to get the anti-magic off before it casts, which will limit the damage by buffing everybody's magic resistance. As I said, it's a magic resistance check. So if we can bump everybody's magic resistance up to, you know, like 13 or 17 or what have you, because these guys will be 17, then that will really limit the casualties from Winds of Death. We're still blood hunting, and we'll try to drop more. I'm trying to save up Earth Gems so that I can cast Wizard's Tower on one of these provinces, and then I can also drop 3 red seconds again next turn from Bixi. So we'll keep on rolling with the blood as well, and it should be a good old time. I may want to... the other thing that I'm trying to do is I'm researching up to blood 9, which will take me a few turns. Once I hit blood 9, I'll be able to start casting Infernal Crusade and spamming out a whole bunch of Demon Knights. Demon Knights are very good troops. That may help me as well. And I have Wang Lao Ju, and Bixie, of course, is already Earth. So as long as you have Earth, I can just give you the blood, and then you can cast Infernal Crusade, and we can start using Demon Knights against our enemies as well. So that will be fun. In fact, I may use some of these Blood Slaves. My Blood Slave income has gone down, but still doing okay. My income this turn was, what's that, 50, 70, about 90 Blood Slaves. I would love to have more, but of course, unfortunately, my Blood Mage income has just been destroyed. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to... No, because I need to save some slaves this turn. So maybe next turn I'll empower somebody in blood and send them out to help Blood Hunt. The Illwinter is actually really helping me. In fact, instead of Infernal Disease, I may summon another Ice Devil. Yeah, I don't have enough... What do you mean I don't have gems available? Oh, I'm 84 instead of 88. Are you kidding me? Rude. Oh, why are you moving? Just do that. There we go. Now I'm up to 97. Excellent. We're going to bind another Ice Devil because, of course, they're getting +6 to their combat stats and +9 to their prot from the cold. This current natural protection 15. Why did it say current natural protection like 15? Basic natural protection 15. Yeah, their nat prot is coming from the cold primarily. So, the Carmine Cleaver is actually a pretty good weapon. It does an extra 20 armor piercing damage when it hits, huge attack bonus, and it gives you a fire shield plus fire resistance. So if you're attacked by, well, fire people, then it's a fantastic little item. I'm not going to give Auriax any more items because he'll lose them when he dies, and he probably will die. The Wavebreaker itself is already very expensive, but I feel like the Wavebreaker combo here, and plus the armor, of course, is very useful because that is what will enable him to murder enemy supercombatants so very quickly. So that's the turn, and I'll see you all in turn 77 as we continue grimly struggling against the onslaught of the goblins. Shimeawa contacted me and offered me peace, but at this point I was just like, I mean, you just took away my Garnet Sorceresses, and I'm definitely not winning the game anyway, so I'm not super interested. Like, if I were to make peace with you, what would I be doing? I would be fighting Pangea or Cetis or something. Well, that's a short road to disaster. So we'll just see what we can do. I'll practice my anti-thug army tactics and see how we go. So, thanks for watching. See you next turn.